Our favorite space smuggler still has a few good secrets, despite his popularity.
Are you slimy, double-crossing, no-good swindler?
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things you didn't know about Han Solo. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at little-known facts about Han from sources currently regarded as part of the official canon, and that predate the movie Solo. So, stories from the expanded universe or legends about Han's children Jaina, Jason, and Anakin do not count. And that time Indiana Jones discovered Han Solo's skeletal remains is definitely out. Number 10. He rescued Chewie, who now owes him a life debt.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
What would Han be without Chewie? Their somewhat one-sided banter masks a deep bond between man and Fuzzball, but the original trilogy doesn't explain how Han and the Wookiee met. In other media, we glimpse Chewie escaping Trandoshan slavers during the Clone Wars, and helping Yoda on the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk in Revenge of the Sith, but with no sign of Han. According to the novel Aftermath, the inseparable duo forged their relationship sometime afterward. With the Wookiees enslaved, Han rescued Chewie, who then owed him a life debt, a plotline that roughly follows the version in the old expanded universe. For the exact details, we'll just have to wait and see.
Great, Chewie. Great. Always thinking with your stomach.
Number 9. He's at least partially based on Francis Ford Coppola.
You know, sometimes I amaze even myself.
Han Solo's become one of the most iconic, reluctant heroes in cinematic history. A pragmatic, cynical rogue and gambler with a heart of gold. But his cocksure wit and charm were actually inspired by a real person. George Lucas apparently drew on the suave, smooth-talking swagger of his friend and fellow filmmaker Francis Ford Coppola in putting the character together. Lucas and Coppola had worked together on numerous films, with Coppola producing Lucas's movie American Graffiti, and Lucas having originally been attached to Apocalypse Now before Coppola took the reins himself. In fact, Harrison Ford's character, Colonel G. Lucas, is actually named after the Star Wars visionary.
When you find the Colonel, infiltrate his team by whatever means available.
Number 8. He hails from Corellia.
Han Solo. I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon.
Audiences first encountered Han Solo in the Mos Eisley Cantina on the backwater desert world Tatooine. But the space pilot actually grew up on Corellia, a planet located in the galaxy's more prestigious inner core, the region where Coruscant and the ill-fated planets Alderaan and Hosnian Prime also lie, or lay in the latter cases. According to the StarWars.com encyclopedia, Corellia is where the Millennium Falcon was constructed, and also the homeworld of X-Wing pilot Wedge Antilles, and of Boshek, a mildly Force-sensitive smuggler who introduces Kenobi to Chewbacca in Mos Eisley. Number 7. Christopher Walken and Kurt Russell screen-tested for the role.
Never tell me the odds.
Han Solo seems tailor-made for Harrison Ford, whose nonchalance and sarcasm brought the smuggler to life. But the role very nearly went to other people. Both Christopher Walken and Kurt Russell screen-tested for the role. Other candidates Lucas considered included Bill Murray and Sylvester Stallone, among others. Harrison Ford had already worked with Lucas in American Graffiti, but was actually working as a carpenter installing a door when he ran into Lucas again. He was initially hired just to read lines to help audition the other actors, but Lucas soon realized he had found his Han.
I think you just can't bear to let a gorgeous guy like me out of your sight.
Number 6. His gold dice have a story behind them. We first glimpse Han's gold dice hanging in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope. In The Last Jedi, they take on special significance when Luke hands them to a grieving Leia. Turns out they're more than just lucky charms. They've been with Han a long time, including a turning point in Han's career. The moment he won the Falcon from Lando in a variant of the card game Sabacc, known as Corellian Spike, as explained in the Force Awakens visual dictionary. Years later, a young Ben Solo would carry them as he followed Dad around the ship. Number 5. His most famous line was AdLibbed. Han Solo has a lot of memorable lines in the original trilogy, but his most famous are without a doubt his last words in The Empire Strikes Back, as he faces an uncertain fate in Cloud City's carbon freezing chamber. Freezing Han in carbonite was actually Lucas's solution to Harrison Ford's ambivalence about returning for another movie, which, fortunately for fans everywhere, he did. Twice. In the scene, Ford was supposed to grin and respond, "Just remember that, 'cause I'll be back." But Ford had other ideas, and his suggestion made the scene all the more poignant. Suddenly, the smooth-talking smuggler had dropped his mask, just when we might never see him again.
I love you.
I know.
Number 4. His description of the Kessel Run is a little sketchy.
It's a ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
We all know the Millennium Falcon completed the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, but what does that actually mean? A parsec is a measurement of distance rather than time, so Han's feat was to navigate the hyperspace route using a more direct route.
We'll be sent to the spice mines of Kessel or smashed into who knows what.
In non-canon sources, this entails flying dangerously close to a cluster of black holes. But there's actually some reason to doubt the veracity of Han's boast. It's described as, quote, obvious misinformation in the revised 4th draft of the script for A New Hope, and an outright, quote, lie in the novelization A New Hope, The Princess, The Scoundrel, and The Farm Boy. Well, hopefully Solo can clear this up.
This is a ship that made the Kessel Run in 14 parsecs.
12!
Number 3. His blaster has history. Ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster. Unless, of course, said blaster is being held by a stormtrooper. Or pretty much anyone other than our heroes, to be honest. Despite the fact that blasters seldom seem to actually hit anything, they do look extremely cool. And that goes double for Han's. His heavy blaster pistol, a modified Blastech DL-44, was built from a German pistol, the Mauser C96, and the barrel from an MG-81 machine gun. Han isn't the only movie character to have pulled the trigger. The original prop was also used in the 1967 Frank Sinatra film, The Naked Runner, before getting altered for Star Wars.
You know how to use one of those?
Yeah, you pull the trigger.
A little bit more to it than that.
Number 2. Han has been married before.
Do you think a princess and a guy like me?
No.
Sure, he might be a scoundrel, a swindler, and yeah, even a little scruffy.
Who's scruffy-looking?
But he does have a certain charm, and Princess Leia is not Han's first romance. In Marvel Comics set between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, a woman called Sana Starros appears claiming to be Han's wife. Turns out the wedding was staged, part of a complicated revenge scheme against a nefarious crime lord. Is it legally binding? Well, we're not sure what marriage laws were like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, so who knows? Maybe Han was busy between episode 4 and 5 signing divorce papers.
Come on. You want me to stay because of the way you feel about me?
Number 1. Han was almost a green alien with gills.
She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid.
Lucas's first draft of A New Hope was radically different than the final movie. Following the adventures of Jedi apprentice Anakin Starkiller, it features an older, weather-worn Luke, and describes Chewbacca as a bush baby with baboon fangs. At one point, Beru offers Luke a pitcher of Bum Bum extract, which we can't imagine why Lucas cut from the script. In an early draft, Han is actually an alien, a, quote, green-skinned monster with no nose and large gills. In the second draft, he's a young, quote, Corellian pirate, and only by the third does he take his final shape, as the high-flying, disreputable, quote, cowboy in a starship we know and love.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Yeah, me too.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.